Hello, I am Dr. Hodges, and welcome to another series of Cybersecurity Explained. In this lecture, we will cover the Risk Management Framework, RMF. The Risk Management Framework, RMF, is a structured process used by organizations, particularly within the U.S. federal government, to manage and minimize risks associated with information systems. Although RMF was initially designed for government use, it can be applied in any industry. The Cybersecurity Framework, CSF crosswalk, is used to align the controls and practices of one cybersecurity framework with another. The NIST Cybersecurity Framework and the NIST Risk Management Framework, RMF, are closely interconnected but serve different purposes. The NIST CSF focuses on enhancing cybersecurity risk management and resilience, while the NIST RMF provides a detailed approach for managing information security risks. A crosswalk between these two frameworks can help organizations capitalize on the strengths of both frameworks. We will also touch upon the CSF framework during this lecture to emphasize its importance when implementing RMF. This lesson does not cover everything, but if you are just starting, there are key references you need to know when implementing RMF. NIST Special Publication 837 Revener 2. This publication, titled Risk Management Framework for Information Systems and Organizations, a System Lifecycle Approach for Security and Privacy, serves as the foundation for the RMF process. It outlines the steps and activities involved in effectively managing risk throughout the system development lifecycle. NIST Special Publication 853 Revener 5, titled Security and Privacy Controls for Federal Information Systems and Organizations. This publication provides a comprehensive catalog of security and privacy controls that organizations can use to protect their information systems and data. It serves as a key reference for selecting, implementing, and assessing security controls within the RMF framework. NIST Special Publication 853A Revener 5. This publication, titled Assessing Security and Privacy Controls in Federal Information Systems and Organizations, Building Effective Assessment Plans, provides guidance on conducting security control assessments within the RMF process. It details the procedures for assessing controls, documenting assessment results, and reporting findings. NIST Special Publication 860 Volume 1 and 2. These publications, titled Guide for Mapping Types of Information and Information Systems to Security Categories, provide guidance on categorizing information and information systems according to their security impact levels. This categorization is a crucial step in the RMF process. NIST Special Publication 800-137, titled Information Security Continuous Monitoring, ISCM, for Federal Information Systems and Organizations. This publication offers guidance on implementing a continuous monitoring program to track the effectiveness of security controls and detect security incidents in real time. NIST Special Publication 818 Revener 1. This publication, titled Guide for Developing Security Plans for Federal Information Systems, provides guidance on developing security plans, including SSPs, for federal information systems. It outlines the necessary components of an SSP and offers best practices for documenting security controls. NIST Special Publication 800-171, titled Protecting Controlled Unclassified Information in Non-Federal Systems and Organizations. This publication provides requirements for protecting sensitive information in non-federal systems. Organizations can use the security requirements outlined in this publication to inform the security controls documented in the SSP. These key NIST publications are essential references for organizations implementing the RMF process and strengthening their cybersecurity posture. By using these publications, organizations can effectively manage risk, implement security controls, conduct assessments, and ensure continuous monitoring of their information systems and data. This is not a complete list, but it is a good start. My advice is to read them, as I have seen novice mistakes made due to not reading, listening, and working as a team in my career. Finally, publications change, so I recommend subscribing to NIST to stay updated on any updates. It is also worth mentioning that these guides are descriptive and generally do not prescribe specific technologies. The RMF process consists of several key steps that guide organizations through the life cycle of their information systems, ensuring that risks are managed effectively. These steps are also highlighted in NIST SP 837. We will now take a closer look at each step. Prepare, categorize, select, implement, assess, authorize, monitor. By following these steps in the RMF process, organizations can proactively manage cybersecurity risks, protect information systems, and maintain a strong security posture. Each step is interconnected and iterative, ensuring that security measures are continuously monitored, updated, and aligned with evolving threats and organizational needs. Let's delve into each step in more detail in the following slides. In the Risk Management Framework, RMF process, the first step is preparing the organization. This involves establishing the context, scope, and priorities for risk management activities and ensuring the availability of necessary resources. There are key tasks in this step that need to be covered. Developing a comprehensive risk management strategy that outlines the organization's risk tolerance, risk assessment methodology, and risk mitigation approaches. Establishing a solid governance framework that clearly defines roles and responsibilities for risk management activities. Ensuring adequate resources, such as personnel, funding, and tools, are available, and that individuals involved in the RMF process receive proper training. Assigning roles and responsibilities by following the guidelines provided in NIST SP 837. Establishing a risk management governance structure is crucial to determine who is responsible for managing risks and ensuring effective decision-making processes. By properly executing the preparation phase through identifying key stakeholders, ensuring senior management leads the way, establishing security responsibilities in RACI, and preventing unrealistic timelines, the program is likely to succeed and avoid potential pitfalls. A major risk that I often see in organizations is the lack of a risk management strategy, so I would like to take some extra time to discuss this important activity. Risk management is an ongoing program. Risk analysis has a clear start and stop point, which can be seen in vulnerability management. The risk management strategy is a crucial component of the risk management framework, RMF, and plays a vital role in guiding organizations in effectively managing and mitigating cybersecurity risks. The risk management strategy outlines the organization's approach to identifying, assessing, responding to, and monitoring cybersecurity risks within the context of the RMF. The risk management strategy defines the scope of the risk management process, including the systems and assets covered by the strategy. It also outlines the objectives of risk management, such as protecting critical information, ensuring compliance with security standards, and enabling informed decision-making. Moreover, the risk management strategy describes the organizational roles and responsibilities for managing cybersecurity risks, including key stakeholders involved in the risk management process. It establishes reporting lines and communication mechanisms for effective coordination and oversight. Additionally, the risk management strategy defines the approach for identifying, analyzing, and prioritizing cybersecurity risks, including the criteria used for risk assessment. It also outlines the tools, techniques, and processes to be used in risk assessment activities. Furthermore, the risk management strategy outlines the organization's strategies for mitigating identified risks, including the selection and implementation of security controls. It describes how risk responses will be selected, prioritized, and monitored for effectiveness. The risk management strategy also defines the processes and mechanisms for ongoing risk monitoring and reporting, including the frequency of assessments and reporting requirements. It establishes metrics and key performance indicators, KPIs, to measure the effectiveness of risk management activities. It emphasizes the importance of continuous improvement in the risk management process, including feedback loops for lessons learned and process enhancements. It encourages regular reviews and updates to reflect changes in the threat landscape, technology, or business operations. Finally, the risk management strategy ensures alignment with relevant regulatory requirements standards, and organizational policies. It provides oversight and validation through audits, assessments, and reviews to ensure adherence to the risk management strategy. Organizations can enhance their ability to proactively identify, assess, and respond to cybersecurity risks effectively by developing a comprehensive risk management strategy as part of the RMF implementation. This ultimately strengthens the overall security posture of their information systems and assets. Categorization is the next step. This step involves categorizing the information system and the information it processes, stores, and transmits based on an impact analysis. Identify information types. Determine the types of information processed by the system using FIPS 1999 and NIST SP 860 for guidance. Impact analysis. Evaluate the potential impacts of the loss of confidentiality, integrity, and availability for each type of information, categorizing the system as low, moderate, or high impact. To review the CIA triad, please refer back to my video on that. Document results. Record the categorization decisions in the security categorization document and obtain approval from senior management. The objective is to understand the potential consequences of various security breaches on the organization. This step involves some key tasks as well. Identifying the information types. Determining high-impact systems. Assessing the impact levels on those systems, low, moderate, high, based on confidentiality, integrity, and availability, CIA considerations. If you need a review on the goals of confidentiality, integrity, and availability, please watch my CIA video. FIPS 199 and NIST SP 860 are two important publications that provide guidance on categorizing information systems based on their security impact levels. Federal Information Processing Standards, FIPS, Publication 1999, defines the standards for categorizing information and information systems in federal agencies based on their potential impact on confidentiality, integrity, and availability, CIA. FIPS 199 defines three security impact levels, low, moderate, and high, based on the impact that a potential security breach or incident could have on an organization's operations, assets, or individuals. If you are not a government entity, you do not have to follow these guidelines, but it is a good idea to do so. As you can see in my example, some categories have NA listed. This is because it is a good idea to demonstrate your due diligence for items on your organizational inventory that are out of scope. While you may not be responsible for these items in this security plan, it is important to acknowledge their existence. Remember, everything carries risk. The publication provides a framework for determining the security impact level of an information system by considering factors such as data sensitivity, system criticality, and the potential consequences of a security breach. NIST Special Publication 860, titled Guide for Mapping Types of Information and Information Systems to Security Categories, complements FIPS 199 by providing guidance on mapping different types of information and information systems to the security impact levels defined in FIPS 199. These publications help organizations categorize information and information systems based on their potential impact on confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Not all systems are equal and should not be treated as such. Part of the categorization process involves understanding your inventory, scoping your systems, and developing a business impact analysis. NIST SP 860 outlines the relationships between different types of information, e.g., personally identifiable information, classified information, and information systems, e.g., public websites, financial systems, and their corresponding security impact levels as defined in FIPS 199. By following the guidance provided in FIPS 199 and NIST SP 860, organizations can effectively categorize their information systems in alignment with federal standards and requirements. Proper categorization helps organizations apply appropriate security controls, safeguards, and risk management practices that address the unique security needs of their systems and information assets. It forms the foundation for implementing a risk-based approach to cybersecurity and ensuring the protection of sensitive information and critical systems. The third step is selecting. This step involves selecting the appropriate security controls for the information system based on its categorization. When selecting security controls for your system, it is crucial. Choose a baseline set of security controls from NIST SP 853, depending on the system's impact level. Tailor controls to fit the specific requirements of the system and organization, which may involve adding, modifying, or removing controls. Identify and add any additional controls needed to address specific threats or vulnerabilities. Develop a security plan by documenting the selected controls and their implementation details in the System Security Plan, SSP. The selected controls are documented in the SSP. Activities in this step include selecting security controls from NIST SP 853, tailoring controls to meet the organization's needs and the information system. It is important to note that while RMF is designed for government agencies, the RFM framework can be used by any organization, enclave, or system. In this case, applicable controls should be used. For instance, I have worked with many organizations that required a cybersecurity program with security controls implemented according to NIST Special Publication 800-171 and documented in the System Security Plan. This compliance requirement applies to defense contractors within the defense industrial base supporting DoD agencies handling CUI data, requiring compliance with the DFARS 7012 clause. To learn more about CUI, please watch my CUI video. Although the DFARS 7012 clause is for CUI data on non-government systems, it is sensible to apply the RMF process. One important point to note is that if you have never documented an SSP, there are good practices, bad practices, and plenty of templates available, including on the NIST website. I strongly recommend consulting with a more experienced information security officer for your first time, instead of simply cutting and pasting an old SSP or relying solely on an automated tool. This appears to be the norm, resulting in many poor system security plans with controls and verbiage that are not relevant. How can we effectively categorize our controls? Categorizing controls correctly in Step 2 is a crucial part of the Risk Management Framework, RMF process. This step ensures that appropriate controls and security measures are selected and applied. Understanding the compliance requirements specific to your system is essential for determining which controls are necessary to mitigate risks effectively. Integrating RMF with the Cybersecurity Framework, CSF, developed by NIST, provides a comprehensive approach to managing cybersecurity risks. The CSF helps organizations identify, implement, and improve cybersecurity practices while aligning security activities and priorities with business requirements. By combining RMF and CSF, organizations can enhance their cybersecurity posture, manage risks effectively, and align security efforts with business goals. The Cybersecurity Framework, CSF, consists of guidelines and best practices developed by the National Institute of Standards and Technology, NIST, to help organizations improve their cybersecurity posture and resilience. The core of the CSF includes functions, categories, and subcategories that offer a high-level view of cybersecurity activities and outcomes. Functions represent the overarching goals of cybersecurity, while categories and subcategories break down specific activities and outcomes. The security controls are aligned with these categories. The CSF encourages the alignment of cybersecurity activities with industry standards, regulations, and best practices, fostering continuous improvement and compliance. Leveraging the CSF helps organizations improve their cybersecurity posture, enhance risk management practices, and align cybersecurity activities with business objectives. This framework provides a structured and adaptable approach to cybersecurity, enabling organizations to assess, improve, and communicate their cybersecurity efforts effectively. From my slide, the core functions in the CSF represent the fundamental goals and objectives of cybersecurity. There are 5 core functions: identify, protect, detect, respond, and recover. These core functions are further broken down into categories, which represent groups of related cybersecurity outcomes and objectives. Each category is then divided into subcategories which defines specific activities or control objectives within that category. The CSF provides a flexible framework for organizations to align their security controls with the functions, categories, and subcategories outlined in the core. Organizations can use the CSF to identify relevant security controls from established standards like NIST Special Publication 853 or ISO/IEC 27001 that map to the categories and subcategories in the core. By aligning security controls with the CSF core, organizations can ensure that their cybersecurity activities and outcomes are directly linked to the overarching goals and objectives defined in the framework. This is particularly useful when organizations have multiple frameworks but need to tailor a control. The CSF core serves as a structured and comprehensive framework that helps organizations establish a common language for cybersecurity, assess and improve their cybersecurity posture, and align security controls with strategic cybersecurity goals. It provides a high-level view of cybersecurity activities and outcomes, guiding organizations in implementing effective cybersecurity practices that enhance their resilience and ability to manage cybersecurity risks proactively. Now we take a look at how to implement these controls. The fourth step is implement. This is a significant step, so when this step is not done correctly, the risk for the organization is increased, leading to potential gaps in plans, organizational actions, and required milestones. In some cases, these controls may not be allowed, resulting in a system not being accredited or a control not being validated. During this step, the selected security controls are implemented into the information system. The deployment of controls involves implementing the selected security controls into the information system, configuration management to maintain records of control implementation and system configurations, and ensuring thorough documentation of all security control implementations, including operating procedures and user guides. This process includes applying the security controls, documenting how they are deployed, conducting a detailed review of the information system architecture to identify where and how the controls will be integrated, ensuring that controls align with the system's components, functionality, and specific requirements, customizing controls to protect the system from potential threats, performing compatibility testing to integrate controls with existing system components seamlessly, verifying that controls do not affect the system's performance or functionality, defining and documenting data flows within the system, placing controls appropriately to protect sensitive information flow, implementing connections between controls and system components, ensuring controls communicate effectively to provide a unified security posture. Moreover, implementing configuration management processes to track and manage changes, maintaining accurate records of configurations to facilitate auditing and monitoring, conducting thorough testing to verify successful integration of controls, testing controls functionality under various scenarios, documenting the integration process, updating the system security plan, and related documentation to reflect the integration of security controls. By focusing on these specific tasks and activities related to integrating security controls into the information system, organizations can ensure a robust and cohesive security posture that effectively safeguards critical assets and data from potential threats. Implementing controls is a skilled endeavor that demands careful thought and customization when necessary. Let's explore how controls come to life within the Risk Management Framework, RMF, and review some crucial tasks. Select and adapt appropriate security controls from the NIST Special Publication 853. Customize the controls to match the organization's specific needs, risk tolerance, and system characteristics. Align the chosen controls with the structure and components of the information system. Integrate the controls seamlessly into the system design to ensure complete security coverage. Adopting a secure by design approach upfront streamlines security compared to addressing it as an afterthought. Create a detailed implementation plan outlining the steps for implementing each control. Clearly define actions, timelines, responsibilities, and resources required for successful control implementation. Configure security controls in accordance with the organization's policies, procedures, and risk management strategies. Adjust control settings to meet the system's operational needs and security objectives. Document the implementation of each control, including configurations, settings, and rationale for any customization choices. Produce documents such as system security plans, security assessment reports, and configuration management documentation. Conduct testing to verify that the implemented controls function as intended and provide the necessary security measures. Validate control effectiveness through security assessments, vulnerability scans, and penetration testing. Provide training on how to use the implemented controls to system users, administrators, and other stakeholders. Promote awareness of the importance of security controls and compliance with security policies and procedures. Training and awareness play a critical role in ensuring security, as threats often stem from a lack of training among internal employees. Establish continuous monitoring processes to evaluate the performance of security controls over time. Assess control effectiveness, identify any gaps or weaknesses, and make adjustments as needed to bolster security posture. Develop incident response procedures to handle security incidents and breaches that may slip past implemented controls. Create protocols for managing control failures, conducting root cause analysis, and implementing remediation actions. When implementing controls, the key to success lies in adhering to the required catalog of controls for your framework, conducting a gap analysis, and monitoring and taking corrective actions to mitigate risk to an acceptable level for the DAO or CISO. Assessing is the fifth step in the process and is crucial. This step can be repeated as necessary. I have personally completed this process for various frameworks such as NIST SP 853 and 800-171. There is a specific control that mandates regular assessments on all other controls based on the data type and contract requirements. It may also require an external third-party assessment by a qualified assessor. Assessing the effectiveness of implemented security controls is crucial to ensure they are functioning properly and meeting security requirements. As previously mentioned, you can utilize RMF for any set of controls, but the assessment should be tailored to your specific data, customer, or compliance requirements. For NIST SP 853 or NIST SP 800-171, there are assessment guidelines for each control. This step involves conducting security control assessments, generating an assessment report that documents findings, gaps, and recommendations. When conducting a robust and disciplined assessment of security controls under the Risk Management Framework, RMF, based on NIST Special Publication 853, careful planning, attention to detail, and adherence to best practices are required. As an assessor, some homework and preparation are necessary. Just showing up and asking questions is not enough. Let's review some key tasks at a high level. Here are some key steps to ensure an approach that is disciplined. Clearly define the scope of the assessment, including the system boundaries, security controls to be assessed, and assessment objectives. Identify roles and responsibilities for the assessment, including the assessment team members, assessors, and stakeholders. Review relevant documentation, including the System Security Plan, SSP, Security Assessment Plan, SAP, Security Assessment Report, SAR, and other system artifacts. Ensure that documentation accurately reflects the implementation of security controls and associated policies and procedures. Select a representative sample of security controls from NIST SP 853 that are applicable to the system being assessed. Consider the system categorization and security objectives. Conduct a thorough assessment of security controls by evaluating their effectiveness in meeting security requirements. Use a combination of techniques such as interviews, document review, testing, and observations to assess control implementation. Collect sufficient and appropriate evidence to substantiate the assessment findings. This may include screenshots, configuration settings, logs, and other relevant artifacts. Ensure that evidence is organized, documented, and stored securely for future reference. Analyze assessment findings to determine the effectiveness of security controls and identify any deficiencies or areas for improvement. Prepare a comprehensive security assessment report, SAR, that documents assessment results, findings, recommendations, and corrective actions. Work with system owners and stakeholders to address identified deficiencies and implement corrective actions. Conduct follow-up assessments as needed to verify the implementation of corrective measures and ensure that security controls are operating effectively. Establish a process for continuous monitoring to track the ongoing effectiveness of security controls, identify new threats or vulnerabilities, and respond to emerging risks. By following these steps and maintaining a disciplined approach throughout the RMF assessment process, organizations can effectively evaluate the implementation of security controls, strengthen their security posture, and demonstrate compliance with cybersecurity requirements and best practices. Regular assessments and reviews are essential for maintaining a proactive and resilient cybersecurity posture in an evolving threat landscape. Reminder: follow the assessment guide and don't make up your own requirements. Stay objective and work with your team and customer using a disciplined and methodical approach. If you have never done an assessment before, it's best to have one or two experienced assessors on your team. I mentioned earlier that there are assessment guides available for NIST 853 and 800-171. It is crucial for organizations to ensure they choose a qualified assessor, which includes having objective internal personnel conduct, periodic risk assessments, using the correct assessment guidelines for the controls being assessed. Anything less often results in subjective outcomes. It is not advisable for the internal assessment to be conducted by the IT team or security personnel who have to report to an IT director, or even a CIO in some cases. This often creates a conflict of interest, and the results will be subjective. There are a few key activities during this step. Selecting a qualified assessor with expertise in the specific controls being assessed is critical to ensure the accuracy and effectiveness of the assessment process. Qualified assessors bring the necessary skills, knowledge, and experience to evaluate cybersecurity controls accurately. Maintaining objectivity in the assessment process is essential to avoid subjective outcomes. Objective assessments help organizations identify vulnerabilities, gaps, and areas for improvement without bias, leading to more reliable results. Utilizing internal personnel to conduct periodic internal risk assessments can provide valuable insights into an organization's cybersecurity posture. Internal assessors who are well trained and follow the appropriate assessment guidelines can offer a unique perspective on security controls and practices. Following the correct assessment guidelines, such as those outlined in NIST Special Publication 853 and 800-171, ensures that assessments are conducted in a systematic and consistent manner. Adhering to established standards and guidelines helps organizations benchmark their cybersecurity efforts effectively. Conducting periodic internal risk assessments allows organizations to stay proactive and vigilant in managing cybersecurity risks. Regular assessments help organizations identify emerging threats, assess the effectiveness of security controls, and make informed decisions to enhance their overall security posture. By choosing qualified assessors, ensuring objectivity in assessments, utilizing internal personnel effectively, following the correct guidelines, and conducting periodic assessments, organizations can strengthen their cybersecurity practices, mitigate risks, and achieve more reliable and valuable outcomes in their cybersecurity assessments. Authorize is the sixth step in the process. During this step, a senior official evaluates security controls and residual risks to decide whether to authorize an information system for operation. In my time in the military, I directly supported the approving official, who was known as the Senior Cybersecurity Officer. I provided guidance on risk acceptance, as well as decisions regarding system changes. While working in the corporate world, I reported to multiple CISOs with the same responsibilities. Making these decisions is crucial, as they may result in terminations, affect superiors, and put the company at risk for legal consequences. It is important to balance security needs while also recognizing the necessity for technology to drive business operations, a concern often shared by a CIO. Create a security assessment plan detailing the scope, methodology, and procedures for evaluating security controls. Carry out assessments using techniques like testing, examination, and interviews to gauge the effectiveness of implemented controls. Compile findings, including any deficiencies and suggested corrective actions, in a Security Assessment Report, SAR. Compile the authorization package consisting of the System Security Plan, SSP, Security Assessment Report, SAR, and Plan of Action and Milestones, POA and AMPM. Review the authorization package to determine if residual risk is acceptable. The authorizing official, AO, makes a formal decision to authorize the system operation, issue an interim authorization, IATO, or deny authorization. This involves preparing the authorization package, which includes the security plan, security assessment report, and plan of action and milestones, POA and AMPM. Reviewing the authorization package and making an authorization decision. Monitor. This step is one of the most critical parts of the process, yet it is often overlooked and neglected, especially in the defense industrial base. Contractors tend to quickly implement a program, establish controls, report completion, and then forget about the program entirely. Properly executing this step requires a significant investment of time, money, people, processes, and technology. Additionally, many compliance frameworks mandate all controls to be continuously monitored on an annual basis. Once the system is operational, continuous monitoring is crucial to ensure the security controls remain effective over time, address weaknesses, and fill gaps. Organizations must develop a strategy, including ongoing control assessments, incident response, and periodic security status reporting. Key tasks include monitoring and documenting changes to the system and environment, regularly assessing a subset of security controls to ensure effectiveness, providing regular status reports to senior management, keeping security-related documents up to date, tracking changes to the information system and environment, performing ongoing assessments of security controls, reporting security status to appropriate organizational officials. It is important to mention that organizations often try to combine or confuse this step with the assessment step. It is the organization's responsibility to conduct internal or external assessments annually to meet compliance requirements. While some controls may produce the same artifacts or use the same process, they are not the same step and often require different personnel. Be careful and ensure that you review the evaluation requirements for security assessments and continuous monitoring to ensure that you are meeting the requirements. We have explored the RMF process in detail, and now I want to share some final thoughts. RMF is a structured and disciplined approach to managing the life cycle of an application, system enclave, or cybersecurity program. I have conducted system accreditation for unclassified and classified systems for military, government, and various agencies using frameworks such as NIST and CNSII 1253. During my time in the Army, we referred to it as Information Assurance and DIACAP before RMF was introduced. Automation tools like EMAS and GRC tools have made the process more efficient, but have also brought new challenges that need to be addressed. The main challenges in RMF and cybersecurity come from people. I have developed programs at all stages of the RMF process, emphasizing teamwork and collaboration with stakeholders across the organization. From system administrators to authorizing officials, strong support from the top is essential for the success of the RMF process. It should be treated like a program with tasks assigned throughout the organization. I have seen organizations place too much responsibility on a few individuals, often putting a non-technical project manager in charge of reporting to senior management instead of having an ISO work directly with control owners. Failing to follow the RMF process correctly can lead to costly mistakes for organizations. The RMF is meant to be an iterative process, with organizations cycling through steps multiple times to manage security and privacy risks in the face of evolving threats and organizational needs. Success requires teamwork, leadership, and a methodical approach. Recently, I had a discussion with a colleague who shared valuable advice about essential practices for success in our field. I expanded this list to include qualities like teamwork, collaboration, and patience necessary for a thriving RMF program. From my experience, these are the key traits for success. Thank you for joining me on this journey to explore cybersecurity. Until next time.